largest banks, financial institutions reduce lending rates. That story is on page 16. Melania Trump visits Cape Coast Castle. That story is also on page 16. And finally, directors of Dancom Microfinance arrested. Story on page 28 of the Ghanaian Times.
Now let's take a look at the Today newspaper, which says here that stop interfering in Jamestown chieftaincy dispute. Residents of Alata, English, caution Ejiri Blankson on this particular story. Fear grips Obuasi after revelation that a god will turn into huge snake. Page 3 has that story.
Really?
Yeah, the Today newspaper says that. Christian Council is dead. Page 3 also has that story. And finally, stop panic withdrawals. Indum urges customers.
Okay, now let's take a look at the Chronicle. President charges banks reduce lending rates. That story is somewhere in the Chronicle. Dua Ajiman chases mosquito, threatens to pull before court. And I don't want to mention that, that's why. And you can read up on that story on pages 2 and 3. Yes, we signed shady deals. Ex-minister blames corruption on excessive monetization of elections. Brace yourselves for tariff increase. That's coming from the PURC.
That's a sad.
Yeah.
That's sad news for Ghanaians in general. Now, the new Crusading Guide says Energy Commercial Bank launches IPO to raise 340 million Ghana cedis. And also, Battle of Wits, Siemens Oil sued. Another story here says America will help Akufo-Addo achieve Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. Coming from Ambassador Mark Green. And also, our policies have impacted positively on Ghanaians. President Akufo-Addo. Finally, let voters decide on my competence. Kojo Bonsu replies, Adekoka. Well, Adekoka was on the show in the course of the week. And
Yeah, on Monday. Yeah.
Yes, on Monday. And he said Kojo Bonsu has weak ribs, so he should not try contesting this particular election.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the Business and Financial Times. BOG moved to get all banks listed on GSE. That story is on page 2. And no one will be shielded. President declares on collapse of 7 banks. That story is also on page 2. New companies law to ease ways of doing business. Also on page 2. And finally, Cocoa Board ETAL to go paperless by November. That story is on page 3, and I think that's an amazing one.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Cocoa Board
VRA
to go paperless by November.
Yes.
Now, the Business Finder. The Business Finder says here that will banks heed president's call to cut interest rates? That's a strong question. Well, we'll see how the banks will respond to this particular call. Top 6 banks made 5 billion Ghana cedi profit in 2017. And well, there's a market summary here on the front page of the Business Finder, so get yourself a copy if you're interested.
Yes, now let's take a look at some online stories. I'm reading from citynewsroom.com. Nana Addo chides judiciary over lenient Galamsey sentences. That story is on City Newsroom. Cocoa Marketing MD accuses Atto Forcing of conjuring figures on cocoa prices. That's from last night's Point of View. Change of governments in Ghana mean nothing. That's coming from Tony Ido. And finally, NDC lying to divert attention from exposed rot in state agencies. That is coming from the NPP.
Okay, well, we're expecting Richard Asante Yeboah. He's a government spokesperson on infrastructure. You should be joining us shortly. But we are still joining the studio. We have been joined in the studio by Rashid Pelpo. He is the Honorable Member of Parliament for Wa Central. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Daily.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for having me. And good morning to my listeners and our viewers. I just imagine that it goes, the Wala, my constituents are watching. If it's not so, please make sure.
No, they are. I mean,
make sure you advertise in such a way that they watch.
They are definitely watching, and I'm sure as long as they have access to digital television, it's all fine. Now, so also to the viewers, remember that you can also join us with the hashtag Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms, and the WhatsApp line being
0550-585-832. 0550-585-832.
Okay.
Now, I heard you won an award over the course of the week. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. The International Poetry Corner, gave me an award over the weekend for contributing to world peace and the welfare of humanity. In my poetry and my other writings.
Wow.
So it is where one of the members of the writers club, the association, was fascinated by my poetry, and he said many people in India were reading me. So he decided to translate it into an Indian language for many more people to have access to my work.
Wow.
So that's the translation you are holding.
So, Honorable Rashid Pelpo's book is named The True Meaning of Life, a collection of poems. How many poems do you have here?
About 80 poems.
About 80 poems. Congratulations. And been translated into Indian language, or Hindu, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations, Honorable.
Thank you.
Now, let's take a look at the first story. Government cheating cocoa farmers from maintaining producer price. This is coming from the minority. I'm reading from citynewsroom.com. It says here that the minority in Parliament has chastised the New Patriotic Party government for maintaining the producer price of cocoa for farmers across the country. Now, the group has accused the government of failing cocoa farmers who contribute so much to the economy by choosing an unrealistic exchange rate for the farmers. Now, government has kept the price of cocoa unchanged for yet another season, and this is why the minority is coming at government for this particular issue, the maintenance of the producer price for cocoa. Honorable Rashid Pelpo.
We are worried about the situation we have our cocoa farmers face. Cocoa is a critical mainstay of our economy, one of the key fundamental pillars that is holding the economy. And so if it is not taken care of, then we have a problem. We need to encourage even much more people to get into the market, into the farming of cocoa, so we can expand production. But if there is disincentive, there is a possibility that rather than increasing production, we are going to decrease production. And the disincentive is coming as a result of the maintaining the price from where we fix it at 470 per bag till date, at a time when fuel prices have increased, cost of spraying has increased, cost of fertilizer has increased, and life itself, is more expensive than before. They are still maintaining the price. There are two issues that we have identified. One, the cost of maintaining the office, the cocoa board, has increased by 63%. Cost of maintenance, meaning that it has increased the administrative costs in keeping themselves in the office. There has increased by 63%. They used to spend an amount of money to buy the same amount of money they used to spend in buying 30 gallons of petrol to spray. Now they spend the same amount of money and get 19 gallons of petrol to spray. They used to have free cocoa, a free fertilizer given them. This time, they can get a free fertilizer and they buy. So if you look at the totality of it, it's costing them more to produce cocoa than it used to be. And yet, the price is the same.
But Honorable, you would agree that the world price, right, it has decreased by 40%. So one will say that the government is trying by actually maintaining the price, right? Because if we were to go by the output and how much the value of cocoa is in the world market, we should have decreased the price for the farmers.
But it is the reason why we thought that something should be done to cushion them off the effects of increasing pressure on them, cost pressure on them. You have all these issues taking place, situations where the farmer is spending more, fuel prices are increasing, the cost of administration is increasing, the no free fertilizer is giving them anymore. So if these were taken care of and the price maintained, nobody cares.
But we
would
already
have understood.
We already spent $2 billion, almost $2 billion last year just maintaining that price. Right, so this year we are spending over $1 billion maintaining the price. Don't you think
$1
we're
billion
trying?
of what? Dollars? Or?
Yes.
Well, I think that, you see, when you explain, it doesn't solve the problem. The problem is that down there, the cocoa farmers are suffering.
Okay.
They want their challenge addressed. If we are unable to address those challenges, and it is our responsibility as the minority to bring out those challenges.
Okay.
We are insisting that they should find a way around it and address the problem.
Okay. So
if
now
you explain that, it's because cost is rising, because this is happening, it won't solve the problem.
Yeah.
It means that we are agreeing that we should reduce cocoa production. We should become it should become a disincentive to go into the cocoa industry, which is what we don't want.
But to be fair, would you not say that if a person is going into cocoa, or cocoa farmers who have been in the industry for a long time are expecting some losses in some years because of the rise and fall in global cocoa prices?
There is a method put in place to address that. Government has put in place a method to address that. They know it themselves, that they ensure that the reserves that cocoa board has is used in lean seasons when prices go down to make up for any losses, so we can make sure the industry is intact.
So if you're under no circumstance should a cocoa farmer expect a loss?
It should expect a loss after government has done everything it can do to support them.
Okay.
But where it appears not to be unconcerned about what is happening, not addressing the challenge, then we would point it out.
Now, the manager in charge of the Ghana Cocoa Board CEO's office, Mr. Fifi Boafo, is speaking, and he's calling the minority's claim baseless. I'm going to quote him briefly. He says, the minority has done something which ordinarily shouldn't have happened. They have used figures which they shouldn't have as members of parliament who have the right to seek for clarity. They should have asked for answers or clarity of the issue, but they rather decided to hold a rally and present those figures, twist it to mean something different from what it is. So the minority is making reference to figures we submitted to Parliament at the time we were putting those documents together. At the time we used the exchange rate per the Bank of Ghana's figures. So he's saying you are using the wrong figures to justify your claims.
But where wrong figures means what? It means they presented wrong figures to Parliament. We are using legitimate figures known by everybody, presented to us, and you can't conjure them. Okay. So we don't know what they are talking about.
Okay.
Okay. We are joined by Richard Asante Yeboah, his government spokesperson on infrastructure. Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast.
Good morning, my brother.
How are you?
By the grace, you're doing good.
So we're discussing the minority saying the government is cheating cocoa farmers for maintaining the producer price. We all know that this country relies a lot on cocoa. We've developed a lot based on revenue from cocoa, but generation after generation, the farmers are not being treated well. So what exactly is going on? Why are the prices maintained?
Thank you very much. I would have been surprised if the minority has come out a different attitude or pronouncement regarding this cocoa window pricing. I would have been very surprised. The only thing that doesn't surprise me is that they stick to the usual note that we know the NDC for, where they criticize for no apparent reasons. And I think that having been in government and understanding the sector, we're expecting them to applaud this government and the initiative this government has taken to make sure that we can develop the cocoa sector and at least have some understanding of La Côte d'Ivoire, for instance. But Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire together produce about 60+% of the world cocoa. So you see, over the period since Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo took over the reins of government and NPP, they've been calculated effort and steps to make sure that we liaise with La Côte d'Ivoire in particular, so we can, at a point in time, start setting up cocoa pricing and dictating the pace. As we speak now, the price differential between La Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana is about 1,000 Ghana cedis. So Ghana pay our cocoa farmers more, 1,000 Ghana cedis extra.
Well, respectfully, I don't want you to go to Cote d'Ivoire yet because we haven't even collaborated with them. Let's discuss how we are where we are now.
I think that we haven't done bad, particularly from the previous pricing window and the kind of jam government gave to the cocoa farmers, and also what government has done to try and sustain the sector. And I think cocoa farmers largely appreciate what this government is doing. They understand. I'm sure that as workers, if all of us are given the opportunity to mention how much we want to be paid, I'm sure, my dear, you are, the way you look and how beautiful you sit and how intelligent you are, you'll be qualified for, say, $1 million a month. You would have loved that. But the point is that there are various things that come into play in terms of pricing. Government is looking at how government ought to invest in developing the cocoa subsector, provision of fertilizers, providing other incentives to them, making sure that the cocoa farmers do have extension officers. We have mass spraying exercises, which are all done for free to support the sector. Cocoa farmers appreciate that. They look at the kind of leap that they've got in terms of yields. When we came in, President Kufuor administration moved the cocoa production to 750,000 metric tons. The NDC came, they couldn't do much about it. Now we are inching towards 1 million metric tons. Now we are around 997, thereabout, 77,000 thereabout. It tells you that this is a government that understands the sector and how to go about working around the sector.
And you say this is due to, sorry, the increase you're talking about, you're saying is due to government intervention in the sector.
Of course.
Which intervention is that?
I mean,
exactly.
Making
because
sure
the mass spraying was free before.
No, but the mass spraying was introduced by President Kufuor.
So it was there during the
NDC came, they started. But there's another aspect that we've done. That's pollination activities, where human beings have been employed to use means of making sure that we can have that. We've increased the number of extension officers, where there's improved cocoa seedlings, where indeed we've been able to assist the farmers and making them understand how to increase their yields.
The farmers are saying that cost of production has gone up. So they were expecting at least an increase from last year's producer price.
I don't want us to mistaking the voice of the NDC to be farmers, because I don't know how many
of them.
No,
but some farmers, they share their
I do appreciate that there are farmers who would relish the increase of the cocoa pricing to, say, 1,000 Ghana cedis or 2,000 Ghana cedis per bag. I come from Brongafo, and my folks and the chunk of my people trade in this business. I understand this sector. My brother, what government has done for this farmer, which they appreciate, is that a farmer that was possibly cultivating an acre and that was making about 20 bags, now is making 35 bags. They appreciate the yields.
No, if the government was to increase
if government was to increase it by even 5 cities, I'm sure cocoa farmers would have been happier. The NDC would have said, yeah, government has increased it. But the farmers that I've spoken to, a chunk of them that even come from my family, they are excited because now they are getting more yields.
Okay, we're talking about two different things here. You're discussing yields, and we're discussing being compensated well for your output. So let's look at the average farmer. You're already engaging in planting cocoa. You don't see your livelihood increasing by any means. A couple of months ago, we heard a bunch of them wanted to plant rubber instead of cocoa, right? You have government officials convincing you to not engage in rubber production, continue doing the cocoa bit because things will be better. Fuel prices have gone up, cost of living is high, and then someone comes and say, you know, we are maintaining the prices because the world price has decreased. In your job that you're doing, if you know that your productivity has increased, you're doing everything, you are working overtime, and your boss comes to you and say, I'm paying you the same salary I paid you last year, but will you be fine with that?
I appreciate your point, but the flip side of the coin is that cost of living has gone up from your estimation.
Cost of production have also gone up.
Cost of production has also gone up. But in another scenario, government has been able to offer some level of relief for cocoa farmers and the general public.
How?
By maintaining the prices?
Free education.
No, let's not do free education. Free education cannot be used for
Imagine the
everything.
cocoa farmers don't want to
can't
go to
use free
school.
education for
Imagine that.
everything.
How does that affect them?
I'm making this point because you spoke about other things that are not necessarily about cocoa farming. It's about general economic conditions. That's what I'm saying, that now these things might have gone up, but government has taken the opportunity of making sure that we show that Ghanaians and reduce whatever hardship that would have come on them if it hadn't been the intervention of the Excellency the President. That's what's going to enumerate the free education
Please,
policies.
let us stick to cocoa. Let us stick to the cocoa farmers. Let's look at a cocoa farmer who does not have a child in secondary school.
I do not know.
He's not affected by free SHS.
I know that over 99% of cocoa farmers do have worse case, or even there are people that they contribute money financially to support their education. So the moment that activity comes in, it gives them a moment of respite. And honorable, over the period, the kind of pressure on his head, because he was supposed to assist a good number of people.
So you're saying because farmers have free SHS, they should be content with the price they're being paid for their goods?
My point is that government is looking at how, one, we can develop the sector, how we can give them value for money for whatever they are doing. I mean, it's a journey, it's a process. We haven't ended, we haven't got into the end of the tunnel. What we are trying to do is to try to build a robust industry. That is what I was talking about, the relationship that is being developed between Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire, i.e. to help Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire to help determine international pricing. If those moments comes, you realize that we'll be able to even give farmers more.
No, why aren't we even? Let me take it a step. Let's take it a step back. Why can't we refine our cocoa so we can make more from it and pay our farmers better?
Excellent, and that aspect is also being looked at.
Why can't we do that right now?
Now we've signed agreement. We are setting up. We're trying to help expand the existing infrastructure. We're also trying to set up other processing plants. You know, when His Excellency went to China, there were other companies that were interested in that aspect of our economy to come and set up and also help build that. Now, just recently, we heard of Alibaba and Amazon and some of the IT giants thinking of trading Ghana's cocoa.
Yeah, but that's a different thing. You can. They will focus on the output. But if your logistics are not in place,
they are talking about chocolate.
Yes, they are talking about the final product.
So because they know that there's a Chinese investment coming in. That is setting up, that is going to set up, that is going to produce chocolate. Now they are providing a platform for them to market that. That will benefit this country immensely. And these are the things that I want us to look at. Things that would help strengthen the economy, strengthen the cocoa subsector, make sure the farmer gets value, their money worth, and also whatever is deserving of them. Because over the years, we know the contribution they made to our economy. And some of the things that when I was talking about free education, that you couldn't appreciate me. What I wanted you to understand was that, you see, various governments were putting cocoa farmers' kids into schools through cocoa scholarships.
Yes.
But we realized that, I remember back in Lagos a couple of years ago, that there was a mate of mine who had come to Lagos because he went through Syrian school with cocoa scholarship. But the guy's father was a military officer. The mother was a civil servant. He didn't even understand cocoa and where it comes from. Cocoa yam and all those, how it's plucked. He doesn't understand anything about the sector. But this is the person enjoying cocoa scholarship. So if there's a policy that will not segregate, that will not push the few number of individuals that ought to be sponsored and to people who are not even into the sector, these cocoa farmers appreciate it.
So my only question for you before Wilberforce comes in is just basic economics. If I'm a farmer, I'm calculating my labor capital, I'm calculating my cost of production, and I'm measuring that by my output. I'm assuming that if I work hard and if I do everything I'm supposed to do, I'll get the returns I deserve. If last year I did everything I'm supposed to do and I got paid X amount, this year I worked twice as hard and I'm still being paid the same exact amount, what incentive is there for me to continue farming cocoa and not just go trade like everybody else? What's the incentive in it for me? And free SHS is not enough.
The amount of effort they put in a couple of years ago, possibly during President Mohammed's era, and the sort of
I'm talking about last year during Akufo-Addo's era.
In terms of assistance the government provided them, it's not the same. Now, if they were going to pay for extension officers, if they were supposed to, because the fertilizers, they were not getting them in the first place. Even when people target that,
but they were free.
No, it was
getting
just,
something for free is better than getting it for 50%.
Let's not be interested in that other aspect, being called free during those times. Because the point was that it was not available. Now, the fertilizers are being provided to these farmers. And they're happy. Have you seen any farmer go on any platform to talk about the fact that they prefer what they tag free when they were not getting the 50% subsidy that they are receiving?
Can I just come in briefly?
The pollination exercises that have been embarked on by Cocoa Board and the various scrutiny. It's not the same period when Cocoa Board.
So your intervention,
money that ought to be devoted into construction Cocoa Road gets into individual pockets.
Richard, your intervention when it came to the free distribution of fertilizer, instead of making sure that the free fertilizer still gets the farmers who are deserving of same, instead of putting in strategies and policies to make sure that it gets to them, you decide to increase the price, which inherently increases cost of production. That was your intervention.
No, you see, what I'm saying is that the free tag the NDC gave, the farmers were rather buying it at the market price because they couldn't get it anyway. It was non-existent.
Why are you getting
so they were buying it at the market price. So now they are getting a proper subsidy where the fertilizers are made available to these farmers.
Thank you very much, Richard. Honorable will take your comments after this.
If maybe the NDC.
Thank you very much, Richard.
Thank you.
We'll go for a quick break right now. When we come back, of course, our news review on Breakfast Daily continues. We're discussing the cocoa pricing and complaints from some farmers.
But let us know your thoughts with the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line.
0550-585-832.
We'll be right back.
City TV is live. City TV is a free-to-air digital channel. On a digital TV, please press menu on your remote control and run a news search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like GoTV and StarTimes box. Tune into City TV.
Every Thursday night on City TV, you're welcome to join women from different backgrounds and opinions as they weigh in on your relationship issues. Watch Sister Sister as the ladies get real with issues about love, marriage, betrayal, sex, dating, trust, finances, and more.
Is and his goals and aims and ambitions, including like marital life or children. You should know that from the beginning. And when you have a deep conversation, you should be able to sense the vibe or the energy, but you should have that conversation so that you know what you're going in for. And then you advise yourself upon what you want and what the person wants.
Join Jessica and her sisters for City TV's all-women talk show, Sister Sister, every Thursday at 9 p.m.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
viewers, welcome back to Breakfast Daily. It's the news review segment still. We are joined still by Richard Asante Abua. He's the government spokesperson on infrastructure, and of course, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Wa Central, Honorable Rashid Pelpo.
Yes. Now, Honorable, your closing remarks on the conversation we're having about cocoa prices.
Yeah, thank you so much. I just want to let my good friend know, when he asks whether we've ever heard any farmer complaining that the situation now is worse than before. No farmer has done that. This is a Joy FM report. Faced with challenges, titled Faced with Challenges, Cocoa Farmers Demand Higher Producer Prices.
What year was that?
And this was end of December, by December 2017.
Okay.
And
I'm not seeing that.
And please put it there. And look at what fix it, put a quotation by a farmer. We don't get money to buy the fertilizer, so we don't use it. Because they are asking them to pay money. And the farmers lament, there's a conclusion here which I want you to listen to very well. The farmers lament promises of support over the years have not reached them.
Wow.
This community, we did not get the fertilizer free. The free mass spraying tool, we get it once a year.
This report appears to be going against you.
Instead of 3 times.
This was NDC's.
Yes, he says a 2017 report, and the report says that we have not been getting the free fertilizer over the years. Now, the fertilizer was free during your period, and over the years from 2017 will be the period of the NDC. No, let's move on to another story. NDC lines.
This is not against us. It's telling them that
just briefly,
the one they say they should subsidize, they can't even find money to buy. They are not buying. And that in this time, they used to get free fertilizer 3 times a year. Now they are getting it once a year. Sorry, free spraying 3 times a year. Now they are getting the spraying only once. And what they say they are subsidizing, they can't even find money to buy.
I'm sure viewers would read that story.
I have read this. But it goes against them. We feel like we can Google it.
What is the title of the report?
This is not a report. It's a report by
for NPP. And also somebody in charge of research and intel of NPP.
This is a report by Jose Opoku Gakpo.
And I'm telling you that this report,
thank you very much.
They were giving report about the NDC era.
No.
Now, CityNewsRoom.com says NDC line to divert attention from exposed rot in state agencies. And the story says the New Patriotic Party has described as false claims that government, in collaboration with the UNDP, has squandered $6.8 million on private investigations with the aim to arrest and prosecute former government appointees. Of course, we know that the General Secretary of the NDC, Mr. Asiedu Nketia, at a press conference on Tuesday, alleged that these investigations were being done at a staggering cost to the state. So other claims were made in respect of this particular
and actually
one
addressing the press, the NPP Director of Communications and Member of Parliament for Adenta Yao Boabing Asamoah denied the claims, and he clarified, and I'm going to quote him briefly. He says, "It appears Mr. Asiedu is on a mission to make noise and hopefully boost his flagging campaign for re-election. Otherwise, no logical explanation comes easily to mind for his antics exhibited in a full-blown press conference and furthermore on other media. We want to say that most of what he delivered were lies, speculating half-truths and deliberate lies concocted in the pot of his imaginations. Perhaps we suspect there is a real reason why the NDC is attempting to misinform the public. Is the NDC seeking to preempt the results of the ongoing forensic audits? It beats my imagination why the NDC is rushing to discredit investigations which are yet to feed into potential prosecutions. This is the same party which challenged the whole world to prosecute them if they were found to be corrupt. What has changed? The technical support from the UNDP is part of their anti-corruption support and government projects which cost less than $100,000. Honorable.
You know, this is a classical case for students of philosophy. Yeah, red herring arguments they used to call, I've forgotten the terms, instead of tackling the issues, they go and tackle the person,
Okay.
But
isn't that what Asiedu Nketia did?
This guy, he's so good, I like him, but his argument is very miserable. And when I listen to him on your network,
Are you talking about Asiedu Nketia?
not Asiedu Nketia, the one you just quoted, Yobabin.
Okay.
It was so miserable. I admire him, but yesterday he was struggling. And just what he has quoted it means nothing to the Ghanaian who wants to see responses from the APP. We argued that you have spent $6.8 million in engaging private auditors to audit and investigators to audit and investigate cases. Private. We argued that you cannot do that without recourse to the Auditor General, who you have established and you are paying. At least he would say, this is beyond me, and then he then contracts. Government sits at the Flagstaff House, and you are contracting people not through due process, but by pronouncements. And we say it's illegal. Number 3, we said that you are using somebody who has doubtful character. And you know it yourself. And he quoted reasons why he's saying that. You are going to respond and say you are talking about the Asiedu's campaign, flocking campaign, this, that, that.
How do you go from 100,000?
It has nothing to do with the responses that he should have given. And when they asked him,
But to be
how
fair,
much was
he
paid?
responded to everything.
Yeah, he said the
didn't.
amount was $100,000.
He failed.
Less than
No.
$100,000.
You see, I'm shocked. This is the kind of dust they throw in the eyes of people, and you get confused. We said that you spent this amount, and when they asked him how much, and he said no. Okay, how much was spent? He said he didn't know.
No, he said less than $100,000.
Listen,
but you are alleging, so you must
please.
prove.
Can you listen to me? He only said that the aspect that we attack UNDP for giving to the chairman, Professor Ajiman Dua. That aspect, and he said no. They only gave 100,000 or less than 100,000. That only aspect, that UNDP only contributed. He is not arguing about the quantum amount of money the government spends on the auditing. He can't argue about that. When they asked him how much it is, he said he didn't know. And Asiedu Nketia, then you were not qualified to be the one to respond. You see, it is not 100,000. Please go back and do your homework. He is throwing dust in the eyes of people. That's why I'm saying his argument is very miserable. He said nothing. He could not explain why they were engaging people outside Article 187 of the Constitution. He couldn't explain how much.
No, he explained on that one
What
too.
did he say?
So on the amount 6.8 million, he said UNDP were used for their technical support.
Yes,
and
that
also,
was $100,000.
and it was less than $100,000. Now, on the issue of Auditor General not being used for this investigation, they said IOCO is being used, and IOCO has a mandate for
When they
economic
asked him,
crimes.
can you confirm that IOCO is the one who contracted them? He couldn't confirm. This is a lie. Please, don't listen to them and believe them. He was boxed to a corner and he didn't know where to go. In fact, I'm sure he would have also used free senior high to save himself if there was much more pressure. He could not confirm whether it was IOCO. If you tell him to come under oath and say that yes, IOCO did this, give us the papers where IOCO advertised and pick somebody who is supposed to be the auditor, he will find the person.
So if indeed it's IOCO, you'll be satisfied with that response. If indeed it is IOCO, you'll be satisfied with that response, Honorable.
If it is IOCO has a limit. IOCO can investigate the report of the Auditor General.
No, Honorable.
And they can engage somebody in the course of their investigation to investigate an account of somebody. But you see, if IOCO be the one to ask for, he can be specific about a certain thing, very specific about it. I'm investigating this fellow. I've gotten to this point. I can't move any further. I want this report. The first point of contact is, what is the audit report about the person? If they don't have it, they will solicit the involvement of the Auditor General, and then they would agree. There are two stakeholders, key
Honorable,
stakeholders.
this your procedure is not legally backed. It's not known in law.
Why? Why are you saying that?
Because IOCO has the power to prosecute. Attorney General has ceded some of his powers to IOCO, or ceded such prosecutory powers of economic crimes to IOCO.
Yes.
And the Auditor General has independence, okay, in his auditing functions, and Article 1872.
Yes.
And Article 1877. So if the Auditor General decides, or the Auditor General can indeed decide that I'm not going to audit this particular office. So where he decides he's not going to do it, are you going to say that you are not going to investigate that particular crime?
You are not saying differently. He said if
You
the
are saying
Auditor
the
General
Auditor General must
decides
agree
that
with
I'm not
IOCO.
going to do this, then it's IOCO doesn't have a problem. You can go ahead and do it. You see, they have to collaborate. That constitutional responsibility cannot be taken away by any act. It's any other inferior, or let me say, the primary law cannot be inferior to a secondary law.
Okay.
You know that.
Yeah.
So I think that there's something wrong there. That whole thing itself needs an investigation. And let me let you know that 100,000 you're quoting was only a bit when he said that UNDP should not give money to any dubious person. He said, no, they only gave them 100,000. But that confirmed our
They
complaint.
don't give money to persons.
No.
Okay.
But
Thank you very much.
under the guidance of somebody, if money is released, he's the head.
Thank you.
That's what they
I
are
think
talking about.
the way my senior and my good friend is struggling, I think he would deserve some water.
Oh, I think you deserve a lot of
That's the
Because-
argument, though.
because-
They leave the argument
because-
and then they tackle the individual.
Honorable,
That
honorable,
MPP, look at them.
allow
Look at
you
their
time.
argument. I want to
But
point it out
honorable,
before.
respectfully,
Allow you
Asiedu Nketia also attacked the
Professor Adjuma. Unfortunate
Adjuma.
Oh, it's part of
He
his.
attacked
It's part
him.
of his argument.
No.
So it's not
No,
part of
unfortunate
MPP
attacks.
to respond
But
the way they
please,
did.
President.
it's a tactic that he has employed to take my time, but I will not allow him to do so. Honorable, you know for a fact that as a country, at AG, now I'm talking about Auditor General, as it stands now, the chunk of their auditing work, they subcontract to private auditing firms. You know that?
Who?
Okay, no problem. I know you are getting lost, but by the time I get you, Honorable, you come
Oh,
back.
please make your
Okay.
statement. That's
Yes,
all.
what I'm talking about is that the Auditor General, we know for a fact that the chunk of their auditing work across the country, they subcontract them to private auditing firms. But you know,
100%.
very good. There is no problem with that.
No.
Good. We also know that IOCO, as an institution, sometimes when it comes to forensic audit, they usually subcontract that to private auditing firms.
I think under Section 13 or so.
Yes, you know that. We also know that there are various international bodies and agencies that provide financial support and assistance to various state institutions to strengthen them. And this might include SHRAJ, IOCO, even AG department. Recently, we had some Chinese with laptops and computers, and some people raised the red flags on that. So over the years, whatever that Asiedu Nketia is accusing anybody of has been the practice. Now, fast forward. Asiedu Nketia talks about some $6-something million. When I heard of the $6-something million, I was thinking that he was making reference to the allegation of some $6 million being given to Kwachu for show somewhere to go and give to some EC official. Because when the NDC talks about figures like that, these are the things that comes into some of us our mind. Because the point is that the person could not substantiate it with substantial substance. There was no evidence to that. He couldn't mention who took the money, which account, which body was giving that money. He just threw the information out there. But we also know that the various institutions that to be audited pay or provide the financing for the work that is done. As you speak now, I know for a fact that GIHOC, a state agency or institution, is being audited. Then those auditing firms were sent to them by the Auditor General. But the payment of the work is going to be done by GIHOC. That has been the practice. So where from these NDC's coconancy analysis and allegations, castigating and running insults and insinuations on individuals who have fought and worked hard for the country? There's no basis in the Asiedu Nketia's press conference. It has no leg or tail because you cannot do anything with it. Because it's just something laced with series of allegations and insults and trying to say bad things about some people. And I listened to Asiedu Nketia and I was baffled. But the point is that at the end of the day, what are the issues that you wanted to raise? The answers yesterday, the Director of Communication of the New Patriotic Party, Honorable Yabu Abiasamwa, provided gives an indication of what has been happening over the period. UNDP has never told the NDC that they're giving any 6 million to anybody. If it was true, the MPP wouldn't have gotten even the courage to mention the figure that the UNDP, because the UNDP would have come back to say, no, this is not true. Because they will not collaborate any lies.
And also, Asiedu Nketia seems to have gotten it wrong with the helicopter issue.
That's not true. That's
you know that the vice president used the Ghana gas helicopter.
And you know the funny thing, that helicopter is a subject of forensic investigation. Because the cost of it's a smack of serious corruption. It's like those umbrella that Majamidu made pronouncement that President Mahama, when he was a vice president, was asked to go and procure umbrella, and subsequent to that, building a hangar alone cost this country in excess of $70 million and all that. This is similar situation where they've been able to create loot and they shed. Now government is investigating. Now the NDC, before even this work, they have been making noise about the fact that if we say they are corrupt, we should prosecute them. Now investigations are being conducted. Nobody's accusing you of anything. Go out there, provide same. Because the point is that the various state institutions cannot jail you. You will be made available to the court. So you'll be given your day in court. So if you go to court and the court says that you are guilty, so be it.
But you do agree with General Mosquito that we are spending taxpayers' money.
But it's not true. That's the problem. It's not true. The $6 million that he's talking about, it's not true. When you ask them
so
for
if
evidence,
state institutions are paying for some investigation, that's still tax. That's still the government. Right?
But that's how it works.
So you agree with him on that?
No, every year. But that's mean that it's a constitutional thing. Every year, City FM will provide their annual report in terms of auditing. Every state institution is supposed to provide that report. So what the Auditor General will do is to ask them to account for every single money government has given them. So you're getting some auditing firm to come and give to Ghanaians the breakdown. Government made available to you $100 million. You use them for A and B, C, D. So account for same. The remaining, where did it go? Those who chop some will be prosecuted. They'll be made to refund. Those who have to languish in jail, they'll be thrown into jail for them to go and enjoy themselves over there. These are the things that we've put in our constitution. So whatever is happening, it's not that somebody spending taxpayers' monies on any decision. That has been the process. And I'm surprised the NDC is making noise about that.
Thank you.
I mean, they were talking about setting up.
Let's let Honorable respond briefly, and then we move to the next topic.
The very basic question remains. When he asks the question whether it is not true that Yoko has the right to audit, yes. Whether it is not true that the Auditor General cannot contract a private agency, yes, they can. In this sense, was it the Auditor General that contracted all the agencies that investigated the state institutions? No.
But you agree that Yoko has the power too. You just
I said yes. When he asked the question, I agreed with that. And I'm saying that instead of Yoko doing it, or instead of Auditor General doing it, it is done by the office of the president. And that's in the report. If you see the report, the signatures and everything, you see that they're contracted, they receive the audit report. Because when your Boabin asks
investigation to be conducted in it, but
the president can cause it through the right agency.
Remember the National Service incident? Who calls for the investigation to be done under President Mahama?
And I'm saying no. If he sets up a committee to investigate it, that is fine. But if you want to audit state institutions, you know the legal either it is Yoko through its investigation and can call for forensic audit and etc., according to the law, or the Auditor General itself, and when it knows that it is beyond him, they can contract other specialized agencies to do that.
Okay, Richard, you say it was Yoko.
I'll not battle
They haven't done that.
On this.
And that's our problem.
If they think that somebody has erred on the side of the Constitution, let's proceed to the courts and go and seek redress.
Fantastic.
So they know that what they're saying is not true.
Perfect. That's a great way
So
to end
if
it.
you think you can go to court, and I'll be happy even to pay for the filing fee.
Let the people.
Well,
we
everything that's
have
in this country.
we have a responsibility
I'll pay
to
for
let
the
the people
filing
know.
fee.
Okay.
We have made the people know,
Well,
and
not
we will
true.
do the right thing.
Okay.
The people
Well,
must go
position, will you
first.
pay for filing fee?
But I was going to court.
This one,
Yes, we are making money.
Let's move to the next story.
I went to court on that. I took the ECD presentation to court.
Thank you.
On all
Well,
the
this party has won.
Thank
There's
you.
a lot
Let's
of
take a look
Thank
at
you.
this.
I'm not even paid.
Cocoa
I'm a
Board
private businessman.
and others to go paperless by November. High spending state-owned institutions, the Ghana Cocoa Board and Volta River Authority, Ghana Health Service, Tama Metropolitan Assembly, and the Koforidua Technical University are to be connected to the electronic government procurement platform by November. So according to the Deputy CEO at the Public Procurement Authority, Kwame Prempe, the EGP system is meant to enhance and make government procurement more efficient. Honorable, is this...
I think we
Okay,
start
I'll start
with
with you. Richard, is this going to end all the corruption? Is this the way to go?
I think ending corruption in any part of the world will be difficult. What you can do is you can curb it, you can control it, you can reduce it. And I think that such digitization processes that we started, we ought to continue it because to help create a lot of opportunities and also expand the economy. I mean, and look at the man hours people used to spend in registering their businesses at the Registered General Department. Now, because of this digitization process, we haven't gotten to where we want to get to. It has reduced considerably. Previously, it was costing a lot of man hours to clear our goods at the ports. Now, you can do that within 24 hours. The most 48 hours. So now in terms of demurrage that people were going through, all these things have been curtailed because of this paperless and this digitized process that we are bringing on board. The next thing is digitized address system. One of the reasons why banks or any financial institution would want to increase their rate in terms of interest rates and all those is equally hinged on the fact that it is so difficult to trace anybody.
No, I can't agree with that. But let's come back to the point at hand. We're talking about these authorities.
If you allow me.
You're kind of going off.
I'm not going off.
We're talking about revenue collection, right?
The sort of impact it will have on the economy. One, it will increase revenue generation. Two, it will reduce the cost of man hours that are invested in some of these processes. Three, it will reduce corruption and corrupt practices.
In the procurement process.
Yes, it can also, because now we are into digital age, it is bridging us to the world. Because we are living in a global village. If you go to other countries, because now any investor coming into Africa looks at the economy where the business climate is favorable. If they know that coming to Ghana, these are the conditions available and it's favorable and it's better than maybe like Cote d'Ivoire and other countries, they will choose Ghana as a destination. So all in all, what it does for us is that it will bring in more inflows, it will quicken the pace at which you go about doing business, and government will get more revenue.
Thank you.
That my brother will
Thank
support
you very
this.
much.
Quick comments on this one.
Well, paperless is a wonderful idea. It's good if we can implement it to the fullest so we can reduce human activity in corrupting the system. Ghana needs it so much. I'm just hoping that we don't have a situation where, as for computers and things, it's garbage in, garbage out. You know, that's the system already corrupted will not influence the paperless regime. If we are able, the public and citizenry have to be very conscious to make sure that we police government so that whatever they want to do with this situation, it happens the same way. Or else we are going to have a system bogged down by already corrupted mentality, and we can have a paperless and yet we will still have the same challenges. But I like this paperless regime. Ghana should move along with the rest of the world because we have reached an age where technology will determine the future of any nation.
It's very difficult. Would you know that, for instance, the ECG app, you know, they have an app for paying your light bills. You know, it hasn't been working for the past 3 months.
And I mean, high school students were also complaining
they
about
have
the digital thing. So it's
They are
one thing to
complaining. I
do
didn't want to mention a
digital,
few of
another
these
thing.
things.
The theory of some of these processes will come with teething challenges here and there. But I'm sure that
How long?
with
It's
time
been
we'll
2
be able to
years.
But
resolve
this is a national institution,
Yeah.
like the ECG, the whole ECG.
American
So
elections
theoretically, it makes
got
sense,
corrupted.
but-
The whole American election
That was
got
an
Let's
event.
not
This
always
is a
compare
continuum.
ourselves to of others. It doesn't make us look good. It's not the standard we want to set
in
for
terms of
ourselves.
system challenges and development of apps. You know that occasionally there will be issues, but you
It's not
continually
occasional. They are not
look
working.
at-
They're
not working.
Which ones are not
All right,
working?
we have
Yeah,
some
the ECG
messages.
have been
They are
working.
not working. I mean,
For the first
high school
time,
students
people
had
sit in their houses
issues.
and they are
We've
receiving
mentioned
their
a few.
national service certificates and all that. Because something is
Kobe
working.
Man says, I don't understand this argument. How do you expect government to increase cocoa prices when the world market prices are falling? And we also had another message from Michael Amin from the UK. The minority should spare our ears with their hypocrisy and propaganda because it will not win them the sympathy of cocoa farmers because of the record of the NDC treatment of cocoa farmers is appalling. The minority doesn't have an iota of credibility and morality to criticize the government of President Akufo-Addo to cheating cocoa farmers because under the leadership of former President Mahama, the ordinary cocoa farmer were cheated to the extent that the subsidized agricultural machineries meant for the ordinary cocoa farmers, some of the minority were taking plenty, now bought as many as 4 to 5. Okay, so we've heard you. That's
true.
coming
That's
from.
true.
We can't confirm that. That's come from Michael
course you
Amin.
say
From
that.
maybe he's your brother. So from the UK.
And
Before you say that.
Yes, but guys, stay tuned. Thank you both so much for being with us.
Yeah. Of
Honorable
course,
Rashid.
Honorable Rashid Popo is a member of Parliament for West Central, and he's also the author. The True Meaning of Life. It's a book that has about 80 poetry pieces, and this one has been translated
In Hindi.
Okay.
Well,
Well, Honorable.
I will.
Honorable, while you are since you're into poetry and the likes, at your course event, Matrix Verse. Yes, Matrix Verse is an event on poetry, so we're inviting you to that particular event as
Oh,
well.
wonderful.
Yeah,
I'll
thanks,
be happy
right.
to be part of it.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
And of course,
Please send me a
Richard
proper
Asante,
invitation.
So I'll give you the
Diabo,
invitation
who
before
is
you
the
leave.
government spokesperson on infrastructure. Such a pleasure to have you. And thank you at Hope for joining us. Breakfast Daily continues. We have some really amazing people in the building that we're going to share their stories with you. One of them flew the biggest flight into Ghana just a day or two ago. So
And also, we're talking about the My Experience Summit 2018. So do stay tuned to Breakfast Daily. Do not go anywhere.
Beauty, they say, lies in the eyes of the beholder. And at Second Image, getting that beauty is our priority. With services for facials for spots and wrinkles, body treatment for body shaping and slimming, hairstyling for bridal dressing, body massage, manicure and pedicure, artificial nail extensions. Guarantees you that perfect body and skin. Second Image also offers training for students in hairdressing, beauty therapy and fashion, and design up to HND level. Our course duration ranges from 2 to 6 weeks for short courses or up to 2 years. Second Image also runs a special foundation program for JHS leavers in hair and beauty therapy, dressmaking and electronics. Contact us now on 0243-331-999 or 0302-221-376. Or you can locate Second Image next to Adabraka Police Station, Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, or visit us at secondimagehana.com. Admissions run throughout the year. Second Image gives you a new image. Second Image. Be empowered to succeed.
Spend 30 minutes every weekday catching up with all the trending social media conversations of the day. If you tweet it, we'll read it. We might just even Skype you.
Just, no matter your situation, you can rise to the top.
Absolutely.
You really
and
can.
it's interesting that he wrote this article on the 17th of June, and on the 18th of June, yesterday, he actually scored 2 goals in the Belgium World Cup meet.
30 minutes is all it takes, so use the hashtag 30minutes on social media to catch our attention. Join the most interactive social media TV show weekdays at 5 p.m. only on City TV.
Every Thursday night on City TV, you're welcome to join women from different backgrounds and opinions as they weigh in on your relationship issues. Watch Sister Sister as the ladies get real with issues about love, marriage, betrayal, sex, dating, trust, finances, and more.
You can tell him, like she said, tell him about it because clearly you have a problem with it. But if he's still, being that way, then you might have to advise yourself because it's a weird thing.
Join Jessica and her sisters for City TV's all-women talk show, Sister Sister, every Thursday at 9 p.m.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily on City TV. Now we're going to talk about the Vodafone Customer Experience Summit 2018. The Vodafone Customer Experience Summit 2018 is a cross-industry and knowledge-sharing event. It has been designed to provide individuals, professionals, innovative customer service experience, solution providers, and corporate institutions with transformational insights on the solutions to excellent service delivery through technology. The summit brings together major brand leaders, educational think tanks, and analysts in health, tourism, and hospitality sectors to share industry-based experience on the benefits of making customers a priority, which is crucial to their business growth. I have 3 individuals here with us that are going to explain exactly what the summit is, how we can get involved, and what we will gain from the summit. I've been joined by Marla Cardenas, who's the CEO, founder of Today's Digital Solutions International. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? Thank you for being here. And Terence Wola Flolu, who is the Senior District Manager at American Honda Motors Southwest USA. Good morning.
Good morning.
And of course, Etonam James Flolu, Managing Director of Eltor Consult. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you all? Can you tell us a bit about your businesses that you work on? Starting with you, Carl. Ladies first.
Well, thank you. I actually have a company that does strategic consulting for customer service, and I also own a call center and technology and live chat.
Nice.
So
Wow.
it's a privilege to be here. So.
Aw, it's a privilege to have you.
Well, so for me, I actually work directly with Mala in the U.S. with American Honda Motor Company. But before that, it would be interesting to know that I actually went to school here. I worked here in Ghana for a long time until relocating to the U.S.
Oh, wow.
So,
how long ago was that?
This was about 9 years ago.
Welcome back.
Thank
How
you.
does it feel to be back?
Oh, it's always good to be back home. Always good.
And of course, Etonam.
Yes, so actually we are the ones putting this together. We are a customer service consultancy firm. What we do is we want to help organizations give out the best to their clients and actually value, just to do the right thing for clients.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, Carla, how important is it for CEOs, workers to keep customer experience in mind in all they do?
Well, it starts with the speed of the captain. And it also starts with our internal customer, which is our employees. We have a big responsibility in creating an environment where they can flourish at their best. The service that they need are going to grow, be able to in such a business, and it's going to culture of how the
from customers always right. The customers, except if you're in Ghana, because customers. But this theory